Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and today I am sharing with you a Christmas card tutorial. This is like a stamping and watercolor tutorial, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to first start by making my background for this card. I'm using some of these old stamps from Studio G. I know that we all usually pick up those little dollar stamps at the near the registers at all the craft stores. They're just so darn cute sometimes, and I know we don't use them enough, so I used them on this card. This is a card you can do for any season or anything like that. I'm just using some black StazOn ink, but you can use any ink that is water resistant if that's what you're coloring with. And I have a tree that I'm using, and I'm also using a little light bulb and a little star. I thought it was fitting for the Christmas season. So I'm just making a little pattern, no rhyme or reason to anything. Just make sure you turn your stamp because it adds a lot more interest as long as they're all pointing in different directions. This is also a great way to use the little additional stamps that come in the stamp set. Like this little light bulb I would have never used if it weren't for this background. So it's just a good way to get use out of your stamps. And lastly, the star I'm going to stamp all over as well. I'm also using some heavyweight cardstock, not watercolor paper, because I don't plan on using that much water. But if you do plan on using a lot of water, be sure to use a either gessoed piece of paper or some watercolor paper. So once all of those are stamped to your liking, we're going to move on to the coloring. And I've sped up this coloring a lot. So as you'll see, I have these watercolors here that I spray with a water bottle to get them going. And I'm going to end up mixing a lot of the colors I use because I want the right shade of green for the trees, and then the yellows for the stars, and then I believe I use a red for the lights. I'm using this like off-brand watercolor set that I got in a package once. Any watercolors will do, even like the Crayola brand, they're great. But I really like this spray bottle method of getting water onto my colors because of the factor that if there's a cup of water on my desk, I'm more likely to spill it. But with the spray bottle, there's nothing to spill because it'll all stay within its own container. So that's just another tip. Like I said, I'm mixing colors in the palettes here, either making them lighter or mixing two together. And I got this perfect cherry red for the Christmas lights. Once that was all done, I set that aside to dry. And then I'm going to move on to the sentiment portion. I'm using another dollar store stamp, or not dollar store stamp, another dollar section stamp. This one says Happy Holidays, and I'm again using some white cardstock to stamp that onto. This is just going to be part of the sentiment piece. I'm also going to use some cardstock, which you'll see in a little bit as well. I used StazOn ink again for this sentiment, just because it was already on my desk from the other stamping, and I really like the crisp black image it gives with all the stamps. So I'm going to trim this into a small rectangle, giving a little bit of room around the sentiment, but not much. And then I'm going to layer it on a piece of patterned paper. This will also be the background piece on my card in the end piece, as you'll see in the next segment. But I'm just going to layer this up. And I actually do a cool technique with this that I didn't plan on doing, but it turned out really well in the end, so I'm really glad I did. So I'm just going to set that there, and then I'm going to trim that down so it's a long rectangle now. And then I'm going to show you all the pieces that I have so far for the card. I have the card base, the first background paper layer, my stamp layer, and then the sentiment layer. So I'm just going to glue the background paper down. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches to cover the entire card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and that makes the A2 size card base. So once that was glued on, I'm going to glue my stamped image layer on. Since this does have a little bit of warping because of the watercolor, I did put a ton of adhesive on. As you'll see, I'm bending it there to get it back into shape if possible. And I really like how the red light bulbs almost match the red in the pattern paper. So I decided to do a little ribbon tail end on these. I don't know what else you'd call that, but I'm just cutting it with my scissors. And then I realize once I'm done that the sentiment will be too long. So I cut both sides, and then I come up with this idea to do a like raised ribbon sort of pattern, as you'll see in a second. It was just estimating. If I really did this on purpose in the beginning, I would have done some score lines. Probably it would have stayed straighter and such. So I'm just giving it a little bit of dimension, which you'll be able to see in the final shots more up close. And then once I adhere this on with some foam adhesive, that is it for this card. But I do add a little bit of bling. I'm not going to lie, I was really excited to do this. I pulled out my stickles. I know, stickles, nobody uses those anymore. But I decided to pull those out and put stickles on all of the stars. I just used the, I believe it's clear, but it has like the silver glitter in it. If I remember correctly, because that's the only one I have here at school. But this will be the last video that you see here at school for this year. The rest will be at my house since I'm done with school for the semester. If you guys want to follow me for more information, you can follow my Facebook page, which is just @Florals. It has the same picture as icon picture as it does here on YouTube, I believe. Yes, I'm pretty sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed this card. It was really fun to make. I don't make too many Christmas cards. I like to make them for a few people, but my mother usually sends out all the Christmas cards, and it's just easier for her to have them super done in advance, and I'm not that put together. But I hope you guys enjoyed this card. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for the close-up video and photos at the end, and I'll catch you guys next time. Happy holidays!